SalesCrunch. Learn more, earn more.
All right, guys, so my name is Sean Black. I'm the founder and CEO of SalesCrunch. We're a social selling platform. I'm going to talk to you a little bit for a few minutes, and then we're going to jump right into the panel. There's three parts to our platform. SalesSchool is our thought leadership platform. So it's basically a community of thought leaders, knowledge experts, domain experts, contributing their infinite wisdom for free or for a small fee, so everyone can sort of understand how to get a deal done. But the other two parts of our platform are sort of software related. Instead of talking about one of the other two, I'm actually going to show a quick 2-minute video that'll do it a lot.
Okay, so look.
So whether you're in sales or not, and frankly, whatever industry you're in or role you play, everyone in this room has one thing in common. And that's that we're all in business to make money. Don't get me wrong, I think we all like to make meaning, but at the end of the day, you don't report meaning to your investors, to your board members, or, I'm going to leave that one for a minute, or to Wall Street. You report sales. So it's not a big surprise that the best companies are the ones that put customers first, and where the entire organization, everyone within the organization, touches the sale at one point or another. But selling successfully is really hard to repeat. In fact, in most companies, sales is still a fuzzy art, even in the largest of organizations, rather than a repeatable process. And here's the problem. 80%, in most companies, 80% of revenue comes from 20% of the sales force, where the other 80% are sort of left on their own to flounder. And management can't really help, not because they don't want to, but because they're so disconnected from what's happening in the customer feedback on the front lines that they don't quite know how to. Marketing is a really good example. They're flying blind when it comes to sales. They're off creating lots of slick sales and marketing collateral with no real idea if salespeople are actually using it, let alone how customers are reacting to it. And product is often building product in a bubble. They spend tens of thousands of dollars doing focus groups just to ask customers what they like, what they don't like, and what they would be willing to buy so they know what to build. But here's the funny thing. Salespeople hear customers complain and make suggestions all day long. They know exactly what customers want. But of course, nobody listens to salespeople because they're suspect. Oops. All they really care about is money, right? Well, that's good, because that's one thing they have in common with the CEO. The other thing is that all this is made worse by the fact that sales has changed dramatically in the last couple of years. Customers don't really need us anymore now that information about our products and services and company is widely available online and through our friends and social networks. Cold calling has been forever replaced by social calling. If we're lucky, we have one direct point of influence left with our customers, and that's our website. Otherwise, we're largely outside our customers' or potential customers' circle of trust. Enter HubSpot. There's a couple of reasons why these guys make a ton of sense. I don't have to talk a lot about what they are. These guys will do that for themselves, and I think for the most part, since we're in Boston in their backyard, people know. But the three things that I've seen, that I've learned from these guys in the last 4 or 5 months since I've known them, is that they're really good at three things. One, leveraging social media in a really clever way to build trust and thought leadership amongst their potential customers. 2, they've done an amazing job at turning sales from a fuzzy art to a repeatable process. And 3, I think that they do an equally amazing job at socializing sales within their entire organization. If anybody follows Dharmesh, for example, the CTO and founder, they know that he's every bit as in tune to what's happening on the front lines with his blog and his Twitter feed as anybody else in the company. So without further ado, we'll pull up some chairs and meet Mark Roberge, the VP of Sales at HubSpot, and Andrew Quinn, who's the head of training, sales training. So why don't we start with just kind of brief introductions of who you are, but what your role is at HubSpot, and maybe a little bit high level, what is HubSpot for everybody who may not know, if there's anybody in this room that.
Sure. So my name is Andrew Quinn. I run sales training at HubSpot. Basically, everybody that comes into the company comes through my training course. I've got a couple of my devotees right here, which is very exciting. Been with the company about 2 years. I've got 24 years sales management, and sales training background. Working for Fortune 500 companies like Verizon, Bell Atlantic, as well as Microsoft, and then some startups in a variety of different environments. And we've really strived hard to create a very repeatable sales process, as Sean was saying. We've got a very deliberate sales methodology that we follow, and a very regimented sort of onboarding process that our reps go through when we're selling HubSpot software, which is basically a platform that allows people to do inbound marketing. And with that, I'll give it to Mark, and you give us a more in-depth discussion of the actual product.
Sure. You guys hear me okay? Thanks for coming out. My name is Mark Roberge. I run the sales team at HubSpot, one of the first folks to join the company. This is my first sales job, so it's pretty stressful running an 80-person sales department as your first sales job, but brings a lot of excitement to the day. I started my career as a technology consultant with Accenture. I quickly got the startup bug about 12 years ago, and I've done about 4 startups since. Along that run, I was here within these walls as a Sloan MBA. That's actually where I met Dharmesh and got involved with Brian Halligan, our other co-founder, and it's been a fun ride since. I've been with HubSpot for about 4 years. I was the first salesperson, probably the 3rd employee. Today we've got about 250 employees and 80 sales folks, 4,200 customers. What is HubSpot? I'll do a quick survey. How many people in the room in the last 6 months have received a cold call from a telemarketer at their home and ended up getting into an engaging conversation with that person and buying whatever they're selling? I do every once in a while. Don't be afraid if you have. Okay, usually there's 1 or 2. How many people, you've all gotten direct mail in the last 6 months. How many folks got a piece of direct mail and it caught their attention? I'm like, wow, I have to have this. And you ended up responding to their offer and ended up buying a product. What was it?
It was a catalog for a boating thing.
Nice. You bought a boat?
I didn't buy a boat through the catalog, I bought something for the boat.
Nice. Very cool. So about 1%, 2% in the room. How many people in the last 6 months have gone onto Google and done a search for a product, or maybe asked a question out to their network in LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter and ended up buying the product based on that experience? All right, so there you have it. We've asked that question to a group of Harvard students, to a group of 50-year-old dentists, to a wide spectrum of individuals, and the results are always the same. We're in the middle of a pretty significant phenomenon driven by the internet that's affected the way that we sell products and the way that we market products. And that's essentially what we worked on a thesis on 5 years ago in this building at MIT, was we called it inbound marketing. And how could we help small businesses to take advantage of that trend that we all know exists? And it's a problem. I still, to this day, most of the people I talk to here, before we got started, apologize to me for not being internet savvy, for not being active in social media. So that's good news, because there's still a lot of people out there that we can help. And small business owners don't have millions of dollars to hire the big agencies and buy the best software. So we really set out to bring together all the tools necessary for a small business to be able to be found when someone is looking for your business or looking for the problems that you can solve in search engines, in blogs, in social media. For the more technical folks in the room, if you double click on what that is, we're essentially a marketing suite, an inbound marketing suite of a collection of applications that help you get found in search engine SEO tools. We have a blog that's included, kind of like a WordPress. We have a social media monitoring tool, like a Hootsuite, all things to get traffic to your site. We have a whole bunch of tools that help you convert that traffic into a lead that you can call. We have a tool that helps you build landing pages, to add forms. And we have a whole bunch of tools that help you get that lead into a customer. We have tools like lead intelligence tools. We have an email marketing tool, like a Constant Contact. We have a lead nurturing tool, like a Marketo or an Eloqua. And we have an analytics tool that helps you measure the whole top to bottom performance of your marketing function, like Google Analytics. So we essentially have bundled all that into one marketing suite that starts at $250 a month. So it's been a good run. We appreciate you guys coming out, and we're excited to talk about how sales works and how marketing works, and hopefully you'll pull something away from it.
I feel like we're way beyond the like who we are thing now that we've heard that in depth. But I'll give you a little bit of background since you already know that before a year ago, we founded SalesCrunch about a year ago, and for the 5 years leading up to that, I was the founding VP of sales for a company called Trillia.com, which is now the second largest real estate site in the country. It took me about 2.5 years to convince my co-founders that we were building a sales organization. I really thought my CEO, the first time I said that, was going to throw me out the door because he thought he was building a technology company. I was right. Of the 225 employees that Trillia now has, 125 are in sales. By this time next year, 66% of the company will be sales. It took the company profitable last August, and they just announced that the company will go on IPO. Trillia basically makes all its money from advertising. So there were 3 different sales teams that we set up, 2 enterprise sales teams, where anywhere from the real estate industry, Prudential, Coldwell Banker, Century 21 was paying us tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. But the sales force that actually is fueling the growth of the company is selling directly to real estate agents, buying anywhere from $50 a month to a couple $1,000s a month, to make sure that they own their neighborhood and whatever area that they deem themselves to be an expert in. And it was an interesting process building that team to see kind of how it came from 5 of us in 2005 to 225, and it was an incredibly painful process. It sounded so easy just saying it just now, to build a 125-person sales team and get the company profitable, but it was unfortunate how painful building a sales team was, and how many people we had to go through to find the right ones. And I think, unfortunately, it is such a fuzzy art, and there's so much, with 80% of revenue coming from 20% of the sales team, there's so much opportunity to help people make a living and help companies grow economic stimulation. So.
SalesCrunch. Learn more, earn more.